What's up, guys? I am Little Hawk,
Big Dan the Bongo Man.
and this is our third installment of Two Guys and a Hookah for album reviews. So last week we covered a very good album by System of a Down. We covered their album that came out in 2005, Mesmerize, which was actually a double album release, and this week we're going to be doing the second part to that release, which is Hypnotize. So for this one, for me, it actually took me a while to kind of get into this. I actually originally did not know that they had a double album release. A friend of mine showed me the song Hypnotize. I was like, what? They just had a CD come out, you know? I didn't know double albums were really a thing. So this was '05 was when I was really starting to get more and more into music, you know? Like I said before, Mesmerize and the album we did before that was some of the first albums I had ever
Kind of a coming of age of our musical interests to an extent.
Yeah.
So we're starting out with it.
Yeah. So I believe this was recording at the same place at the Mansion, also produced by Rick Rubin and Darren Malakian of System of a Down. So this is kind of not really a B-sides. It's definitely a second release.
Yeah, it's a full album. It's just as big as
In fact, it also went #1 on the Billboard Top 200 for about a week. So it definitely had its success.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was the first time it had its major pop song type thing, which was Lonely Day, which became I'm pretty sure it was the theme song to the movie Disturbia, starring Shia LaBeouf. So alright, we're going to get straight into that. This was released, of course, in '05, I believe November 22nd of '05.
So end of the year.
Yeah. Of course, they gave it about 5 or 6 months after release of Mesmerize.
Oh, because you don't want to release 2 albums at once, it will confuse people.
Yeah, but they both debuted at #1, which is pretty good. And this was also the last album that System of a Down has still done to this day. They have not released any material since then, and it has been almost 10 years. It has been 9 years almost since the release of both of these albums. So this was a very high note for them.
Yeah, they went out with a bang.
Yeah,
they're hopefully coming out with more shit.
Hopefully.
They're off their hiatus, they're touring. I want to see them. I want to see more stuff from them because they kick ass. But let's just jump right into this, alright?
Alright, so the first track that they go on here is called Attack. And holy fucking shit, what a proper fucking name, because they fucking attack the shit out of this record with this song. First of all, this is, at least what I can think of, this is when probably the first time you hear blast beats sitting, it's just fucking sweet. But I've noticed that every song on this album is just extremely catchy.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, before, that they have just improved so much on their musical prowess and ability that it's definitely showcased very well in this album. And Attack is definitely one of those that just, it's an up and down roller coaster ride.
Yeah, and there's a lot of I feel like the lighter parts, I think of a tiger almost attacking, it's kinda like they're prowling.
Yeah, the whole cutting.
And then it's just right when they attack, it's like they're pouncing sort of thing. It's cool.
We attack. It's a really good song. It's probably my third, fourth favorite song off this record.
Yeah.
And definitely a good starting point.
I feel like with Dreaming, they kind of fit well together, because Attack's a major take action type of thing, and Dreaming I feel is kind of a regret song, where it's
the aftershock of it.
Can't get these thoughts out of my mind. Well, that's not the lyric, but it's something similar. And it's a very good song. Again, kind of.
Yeah, no, the second track, Dreaming,
it's almost a reprise of it.
Yeah, I feel that way too. And like I said, every track for me is just it's so catchy, and the harmonizations that Darren Malakian and Serge Tankian do on this album are just beautiful and complex, I think.
There's a lot of, you were saying before, there's a lot of layering with the vocals and the
instruments. A lot of very deep, unique, and carefully placed orchestration of the vocal work. So.
And for such
kudos to you guys. And this was also, I believe, this was actually one of the 2 songs that the bassist Chabot Odejian actually helped write. So that was pretty cool. Alright, so the next one we're going to get into is Kill Rock and Roll, which was, I think, their first goofy song off this record.
Definitely kind of goofy.
Excuse me. I love the beginning of the song, though. The intro is really good.
I felt like such an asshole when I killed Rock and Roll, and they're rocking out. It's kind of... I don't want to say ironic and sound like a fucking hipster, but it's kind of ironic.
Yeah, it kind of is. Alright, so the next song I'm getting into is the title track, Hypnotize, which I actually, I made a point earlier today that they've only done 2 title tracks out of all their releases. And the first one was Toxicity, which is also a very good song. This kind of has like the same vibe to it.
Yeah,
in fact, the first 2 songs, Attack and Dreaming, have that Toxicity.
Yeah, you could hear it on that album.
Like album feel on it. You know, they have like that typical signature like System of a Down break. It's just, it's sweet. And on this track, this is probably like I can never pick my favorite of anything, but it's definitely like top 2 or 3 favorite songs off this record.
Level, especially if they're more popular songs.
In fact, I think of all time, it'd definitely be in top 10 because this song, I like to play it on my guitar all the time. It's got, you know, it just illustrates almost everything that System of a Down is about, but it's not very heavy though. The song is not very heavy at all, but it's
very catchy, for sure.
It's very, very catchy. In fact, this was their biggest single that they released off of this album.
Yeah.
So I actually love the shit out of this song.
The next track's kind of cool. Like the start of the track's very interesting, but the end's really where I like. It kind of has a psychobilly feel to it. Stealing Society.
Oh yes.
It's got like a fast-paced rockabilly, psychobilly type thing going on, which like kind of feels like Rock Lobster. If you've heard that song by B-52s, right?
I think so. Actually, I played.
Don't quote me on that. But
I played with a local band just recently last week called Remnants, and they actually covered Rock Lobster, and I had to get up and do a little skank action for some reason. It was pretty cool though. It was nice, but this is actually not my favorite song off the album.
I enjoy it more than you do.
I place this in the lower ranks for me, but that's just my opinion. Tentative. This is actually probably the 3rd song I ever heard off this album. First time I heard any tracks off of this was I was on playlist.com looking up just more System of a Down stuff that I haven't heard. You know, I actually didn't get this album until a couple years ago. But you know, I got it, and like I said about the last album, I don't know if they were doing drugs or not, but they have a lot of speed in both these albums, especially this record. On songs like Attack and Dreaming, Tentative, Vicinity, all of those are just fast-paced as shit in a lot of parts, in a lot of ways, so just fast and high energy, which is what we've always come to know and love from System of a Down. It's like that high energy,
they're goofy, crazy, awesome, semi-political energy they got going on.
Yeah, no, and it's definitely a lot more apparent in this record with the speed. For sure. Not talking about the drug. I don't know if they ever did speed.
They might have.
We were looking for interviews about them possibly talking about drugs, and it's not easy to find.
Which is understandable. I don't think they'd want to be talking about
I did find a video with them smoking weed with Mars Volta.
Which is cool.
Which was actually pretty cool as shit, but the drummer was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
But
Tentative. That's only just did. The next one's Ufig. This one's a weird
I love this song.
It's cool.
It's very weird song.
I don't quite get what they're going for, like message-wise on it, but it just got a lot of really trippy lyrics. It's like melt in the sky, ride in the sky,
high in the sky. Who wants to come join me and something like that.
And it's just very esoteric and weird.
It kind of has like a kind of like a classical opera feel. You know, with the you know, it's just, it goes to show that the vocal work that they do on this album,
really complex.
It's very complex, and it's just, Soda's just one of those bands that can literally do whatever the fuck they want, and that is what I love about
and it won't
the
surprise
bands
you
that I
either
like.
because of what they do.
Yeah, no, they...
Alright, the next track is probably one of my favorite tracks, Holy Mountains.
Holy Mountains.
It's just such a, chilling and spiritual type song.
Definitely moody.
Yeah, it's got a good mood to it, a good vibe. Yeah. It's not one you want to listen to, a lot, but, when you're in the right mode for it, it fits perfectly. Yeah, like I said, all these songs could be good sing-along songs, and this one's definitely one of the woes. They got the woes in it. For me, I felt like this was kind of like a reprise of Aerials a little bit. Like I said, I felt like they brought a lot of elements from Toxicity onto this record, and I don't know if they did that on purpose, or just... that's just what happened for me. People go through moods. It might have just been a mindset they were in for both albums or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
The next track's kind of funny too. Vicinity of Obscenity.
This
it's just
song
strange.
is weird as fuck. Weird as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what, but terracotta pie. But they just keep saying banana and terracotta pie a lot.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Chicken Stew a little bit, with the whole pizza pie type thing, but this was actually one of the other earlier songs that I had seen from them when I first heard this record.
It's definitely a what the fuck kind of song.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what the point of it was.
No, but
I'm sure
like
Serge could, but I don't get it. I really don't get it, but it's cool as shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's very cool.
She's like heroin.
She's like heroin. Selling us for heroin.
This is a song about poor life choices, honestly.
Yeah, don't ever do heroin.
Don't whore yourself out.
Yeah,
and don't be a guy wearing a dress, unless you're into that. But I'm not.
Yeah, me and him personally know people that have had their problems with heroin and do not do it.
Yeah.
Don't recommend it.
Not at all.
Nope. I've never done heroin. I do not plan to.
Never
unless
will.
You want to be like Isaac Mendez in Heroes and paint the future. But guess what? It probably won't happen. So just don't try it. Just don't
fuck with it.
You know, look what happened.
Bad. Don't
look
do
what happened
drugs,
to Ray
kids.
Charles. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
didn't die from heroin, but he did it for a really long time. That's bad.
Mm.
I mean, yet again, if you were blind.
Yeah. Selling ass for heroin.
Selling ass for heroin. This song is probably almost every time I hear this record, this is always a song that's stuck in my head. Out of all the great songs that are on the CD.
It's catchy.
It's the She's Like Heroin song that's always stuck in my head. It's not like the next song, which is actually, like I said earlier, it's the more poppy song of probably their entire song catalog, which is Lonely Day. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure it was the actual official theme song of Disturbia. I'm not really sure because I don't feel like looking up the credentials. But had I said last week, this is one of the few songs that they've done that featured a guitar solo, not just like a plain just like a random lead lick. No, it was like a definitive. There's a guitar solo.
Yeah.
I actually now I didn't make this point last time, but what was it? Psycho from Toxicity. They actually do a very good guitar solo in it. This song for me, and this is what I like about Bear Malakian. It's just pretty much all him as the lead, which I like because his voice is not your typical singing voice. In fact, I can see how some people might find it annoying, but he does it well. He hits the notes perfect, and he's really good at it, honestly. And you know you can kind of hear it in more of the Toxicity album, like on tracks like Atwa, ATWA, whatever you want to call it. You know, you can hear him, but on this record, he's definitely pushed out there.
It's encapsulated that kind of mood.
Yeah, which probably explains why as soon as this album was done, he went on to form Scars on Broadway with John Domion.
Yeah.
So this was a good song for the band and him. I think people have definitely listened to this after some type of a breakup or for depression or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of a...
But
nonetheless, Soldier Side.
Yeah.
Good way to start this double album and a good way to end it.
Yes, I love the reprise that they do at the end that they use from the intro, the Mesmerize, and is the outro for this one. This is probably, like I said, I can't pick favorites. This is also one of my top three songs off the album, just because, you know, it shows the political side a little bit, but it's it's a lot more serious tone, and it's a lot...
There's definitely a deeper meaning behind it.
Yeah, but I think it was a good way to close out the album, don't you think?
Well, especially because I started out with that as an intro. Like, it was a good...
Yeah, no, it was definitely a good way to close the double album, but do you think it was a good way to close just Hypnotize itself?
Yeah, I do, honestly. Like, especially because you start out with Attack, and it's like a kind of a let's attack something song. Yeah. And then Soldier Side's kind of a mourning and attack.
Yeah. Instead of having what was supposed to be the initial start for this album was going to be a track called Hez, which I actually heard for the first time earlier today, which it's kind of have like a Middle Eastern style, which...
It sounds kind of goofy, honestly.
Yeah, it's very goofy. It has like a Middle Eastern, like, pop type.
Yeah, like, you'd hear it in a Middle Eastern club, I think. I've never been to one, couldn't tell you what one would sound like, but that's what I would think of when I see it.
Dad. I guess he's been to Abu Dhabi and Dubai a couple times, but...
Yeah.
I don't know, that track was interesting. You can only find live renditions of it that I know of.
Yeah.
They play it, I believe, in this year of 05, the year that this came out. They played it right after Mr. Jack.
Yeah. And
if you go on YouTube, go check out that video because it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that wraps up like our track covering of this album. How do you feel about the album art on this one?
I like it. It's got it's got kind of a broken clock with it versus the other one that on the disc when Mesmerize had a clock.
Had the actual clock. Like I said, I want to get the blue mask and wear that.
It's also kind of cool that like this was their last album and they had that hiatus and the clock was broken, almost symbolic of a breakup. But they came back and that's awesome.
But I think it goes to show that their stuff, at least for the fans, I would hope will always be timeless.
Without a doubt.
There's no actual measurement of time in the world. If you really think about it, and this is how I feel, time really does not exist. It's just a way that we use. Yeah, just a way that we use to measure and schedule our daily lives. You know what I'm saying? But on the whole,
both these albums kick ass.
Yeah.
Worth a listen if you haven't heard them. Pick them up. System of a Down rocks. Subscribe.
Yes, definitely do that.